කෙටියෙන් දත්ත වැඩියෙන් සයිබර් අවකාශයේ කලබන වුවත් සලකුණ News First YouTube channel අදම subscribe කරන්න. News First ජනතාව සමග.
Kidney diseases have plagued villages of Madukare for many years. For 335 families that once relied on impure water, there's some hope. A water purification project by Gammadda. Gammadda, for the people, by the people.
Hello there, a very good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime News on TV1. We're coming to you live and direct from our News First studios here in Colombo. Let's start off with a look at your top stories for this afternoon.
President's office opens after 100 days. 3 men nabbed while trying to sell loot from President's office. Cabral travel ban extended to 26th October. Draupadi Murmu take charge as president as India completes 75 years of independence.
Onto those stories in detail now. Newly appointed Sri Lankan Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena assumed duties today. The leader of the House, Minister Dinesh Gunawardena, took oaths as the Prime Minister in the presence of President Ranil Wickremesinghe on Friday, the 22nd of July. Gunawardena was a member of Parliament, a cabinet minister and the leader of the House in the Parliament of Sri Lanka and is the current leader of the left-wing Mahajana Eksak Peramuna. The Education Ministry decided to reopen schools for the second academic term today. However, schools will only be open for students on Monday, Tuesday and Thursday, while on Wednesdays and Fridays students will join online lessons.
Although the Education Ministry decided to reopen schools for the second academic term today, access to transportation was the main issue faced by students and teachers alike. This was how students from Panadura were seen travelling to school. Sisusariya buses were deployed for students travelling to schools in Colombo. However, there was a reduction in the number of private passenger transport buses. Students and teachers in Kurunegala were forced to wait for long periods on the streets until buses arrived. Students in Hatton were severely inconvenienced due to the shortage in public transport services. Low attendance was reported in schools in the Matara town, while students were severely inconvenienced by a lack of public transport. Many students from schools in Kandy attended schools using private transport. Trade unions say the move to reopen schools is premature as issues facing the education sector arising from the fuel crisis have not been solved.
As was mentioned before, public transport services continue to be hampered today as well due to the ongoing fuel crisis in the country.
School students, office workers and many others were severely affected by the lack of transportation facilities this morning. A large crowd was seen at the Panadura railway station this morning. A similar situation was witnessed at the Ragama railway station as well. Hundreds were seen waiting for trains at the Maradana railway station. However, Sri Lanka Railways said that trains were operating as per the normal schedule. The Lanka Private Bus Owners Association said that services were limited due to the shortage of fuel. A large number of people were seen waiting at the bus station in Haliela. Private bus workers from Kamburupitiya Mathura went on strike demanding fuel. Operational Superintendent of the Sri Lanka Transport Board ASB Veera Surya, speaking to Newsfirst, said that bus services are operating as usual.
A new fuel quota policy was introduced for Sri Lanka. Now, according to the fuel quota policy, Sri Lankans have to apply online and then they are assigned a QR code to access fuel at fuel stations across the country. However, this system was only implemented at selected filling stations across the country today.
The QR code program for fuel was to be implemented island-wide starting from today. However, it was only implemented at selected filling stations. Therefore, currently fuel is being sold based on the last digit of the vehicle registration number. Today, that's Monday, vehicles with the last digit of their registration number being 6, 7, 8 and 9 can obtain fuel. However, there are still long queues for fuel across the island. People in Haliela have been waiting in line at the Lanka IOC filling station since Saturday night. Foreign travellers were issued fuel from the Halpe filling station in Alla. On Sunday night, diesel and petrol was delivered to the Sipetco filling station in Karuwalagasweva. However, it was not sufficient to all those who were waiting in line. Hence, situations farmers have also been severely affected due to the shortage of fuel. Ceylon Petroleum Storage Terminals Limited said that 7,000 metric tons of fuel will be delivered today. Accordingly, 4,000 metric tons of diesel and 3,000 metric tons of petrol will be issued to all Sipetco filling stations.
The staff attached to the Hettipulla Regional Hospital protested this morning, demanding fuel to report to work.
We are here on the streets with zero intention of causing inconvenience to the people. We are left with no option because there is a need for fuel. We have never received fuel based on a proper program. We are requesting that fuel be provided to the health workers to ensure that health activities are not affected.
Sri Lanka's President's Office resumed operations this morning after a hiatus of 100 days.
The President's Office did not operate for approximately 100 days as protesters from Gota Gogama occupied the areas surrounding it. Sri Lanka's police and military troops removed anti-government protesters camped outside the presidential office in Colombo in a pre-dawn raid on Friday. Cleaning and repair work was underway to ready the President's Office over the weekend as security forces opened Gall Road in front of the Secretariat for traffic. The Occupy Galle Face protest is on for the 108th day at the agitation site located next to the President's Office in Colombo. Sri Lanka police arrested 3 people who attempted to sell several items that were looted from the President's Office recently after protesters stormed the premises on the 9th of July. Sri Lanka police said that 3 men from Rajagiriya were arrested when they attempted to sell 40 gold-plated brass balls that were used at the president's office to hang curtains as antiques. The suspects are to be handed over to the Colombo North Crimes Investigation Division that is already conducting an inquiry at the president's office.
India detected its 4th monkeypox case in Delhi yesterday, a day after the World Health Organization declared the monkeypox outbreak a global health emergency. The Allergy, Immunology and Cell Biology Unit of the University of Sri Jayawardhanapura warned that there is a risk of monkeypox extending to Sri Lanka.
The World Health Organization has activated its highest alert level for the growing monkeypox outbreak, declaring the virus a public health emergency of international concern. So far this year, there have been more than 16,000 cases of monkeypox in more than 75 countries and 5 deaths in Africa. The Ministry of Health is appealing to the general public to wear the face mask as they did before when visiting public places and when travelling. The Health Ministry said 56 COVID-19 cases were reported on Sunday.
Religious events were organized to mark 1 year since the passing of the former chairman of the Capital Maharaja Group, Mr. R. Raja Mahendran.
An almsgiving for the Mahasangha took place at the city office of the Sirasa Media Network located at Braybrook Place, Colombo. A Dhamma sermon was organized at the Depanam studios of the Sirasa Media Network on Sunday to invoke blessing on the former chairman of the Capital Maharaja Group, the late Mr. R. Raja Mahendran. An almsgiving took place at the Depanam station this morning. Mahasangha from the Sri Vajiranyana Dharmayatana in Maharagama attended the almsgiving. A Dhamma sermon also took place at the Stein Studios in Ratmalana on Sunday in remembrance of the former chairman of the Capital Maharaja Group, the late Mr. R. Raja Mahendran. An almsgiving took place this morning at the Stein Studio premises.
Nurses in the Eastern Province representing the Government Nursing Officers Association stepped away from their duties this morning. Nurses representing the Government Nursing Officers Association in the Eastern Province decided to step away from their duties, citing a decision to slash their allowances. The trade union action hampered multiple operations at the Trincomalee, Batiklo and Ampara district hospitals. In some news from court, the travel ban imposed on former Central Bank Governor Ajit Niwad Cabral was extended to the 26th of October by Colombo Magistrates Court today.
The order was made by Colombo Additional Magistrate Harshana Kakunavala after considering a complaint filed by ex-provincial Governor Kirti Tennakoon. The complaint was filed under 6 individual charges accusing Cabral of misusing public funds during his tenure as the CBSL Governor. Cabral was also the 12th Governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka from July 2006 to January 2015, and the complaint noted that during that period he caused a loss of 10.06 billion Sri Lankan rupees to the government by selling treasury bonds and bills from the central bank to close associates. Another charge is that Cabral was involved in revealing insider information. It also goes on to state that during his tenure as the central bank governor, Cabral paid $6.5 million to American political donors owner Imad Zuberi without the cabinet's approval and thereby is responsible for criminal breach of trust and criminal abuse of funds. The complaint also alleges that while serving as the governor of the central bank, Cabral caused a loss of $500 million to the government in sovereign bonds from 15th September 2021 to 4th April 2022.
The second phase of the Divisavia program to distribute dry rations among families in need was held for the 19th day today. The program is sponsored by LOLC Holdings. Essential relief packages were distributed at selected locations in the Batiklo district. The Divisavia program aims at supporting low-income families suffering in the face of the economic crisis. In a look at some news from overseas now, Draupadi Murmu took oaths as the 15th President of India today as she became the first tribal woman to hold the highest constitutional post in the country.
The Indian Chief Justice administered the oath to Murmu in the presence of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Union Ministers Rajnath Singh, S. Jaishankar, Amit Shah, among others. Addressing the nation after being sworn in as the 15th President of India, Draupadi Murmu said that she was honoured to take charge at a time India is completing 75 years of independence. She added that she is the first president to be born in independent India. Following her swearing-in ceremony, President Draupadi Murmu took charge of her responsibilities from former President Ramnath Kovind at the Rashtrapati Bhavan.
A fast-moving wildfire in California continues to grow in size as firefighters struggle through sweltering temperatures.
California's fire department said yesterday the Oak Fire has now burnt 15,603 acres of land and is still 0% uncontained. But it added that the fire activity is not as extreme as previous days and firefighters are making progress. More than 6,000 people have been evacuated and 10 structures destroyed. California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection reported a further 3,271 structures, both homes and businesses, are under threat. At a community meeting on Sunday night, an official said they hope the blaze, which started on Friday, would start to be contained very soon. A state of emergency was declared in Mariposa County on Saturday and will allow the state to access some federal assistance to tackle the fires. The scale of the blaze marks an ominous start to California's wildfire season, and officials have warned that a combination of drought, climate change and overgrown vegetation are posing significant challenges and increasing the chances of the fire spreading rapidly. Much of the United States is sweltering through a heat wave, and heat advisory warnings are in effect in more than a dozen states. Temperatures in Mariposa County hit 100 degrees Fahrenheit on Sunday and are expected to stay high for the next few days.
Sri Lanka were bundled out for 378 runs in their first innings in the second test against Pakistan today. At lunch, Pakistan were 15 runs for the loss of 1 wicket in their first innings, trailing by 363 runs.
At the KTN, that's the ready. Cyber Avakashe Kalabana, what Salakuna. News First YouTube channel. Adama subscribe Karanna. News First. Janatava Samaga.
In his landmark 100th test. In more sports news, Denmark's Jonas secured his first Tour de France victory as Jasper of Belgium won the sprint on the final stage in Paris.
At the KTN, that's the ready. Cyber Avakashe Kalabana, what Salakuna. News First YouTube channel. Adama subscribe Karanna. News First ජනතාව සමග ඇත්ත කෙටියෙන් දත්ත වැඩියෙන් සයිබර් අවකාශයේ කලබන වුවත් සලකුණ News First YouTube channelය අදම subscribe කරන්න. News First ජනතාව සමග.
Ferrari's Charles Leclerc all but threw away any hope of catching him in the championship battle.
ඇත්ත කෙටියෙන් දත්ත වැඩියෙන් සයිබර් අවකාශයේ කලබන වුවත් සලකුණ News First YouTube channelය අදම subscribe කරන්න. News First ජනතාව සමග. ඇත්ත කෙටියෙන් දත්ත වැඩියෙන් සයිබර් අවකාශයේ කලබන වුවත් සලකුණ News First YouTube channelය අදම subscribe කරන්න. News First ජනතාව සමග.
තට්ටු 7යි හේතු 7යි මංචි සුපර් ක්‍රීම් ක්‍රැකර් වලට සුපර් කියන්නේ නිකන් නෙවෙයි.
I'm Charlotte Benedict for the News First team.